Hello friends, it's Shannon. It's very late on Wednesday evening, and it's been a very busy week, and so lots of meetings, then lots of team time in the evenings, staying up late talking to coworkers, which is fun, but I'm pretty tired. So I have not really stitched much at all, but I'm doing a little bit just because I like to just unwind a little bit in the evening. So last night I really didn't do any at all, but I did read for a little bit, which I also try to do every night, but this is what I've been working on. So not much progress, but it is the violets that I have shared before, and I've done a little bit, but not much. So I think what I'll do is probably just do a little bit up here because that's going to feel like some instant gratification, and I'll fill in a little bit of gap here, and that will feel like I'm making progress versus lots and lots of basket weave. So I'm going to do that for a few minutes. I can't even turn on the TV because the remote control is not working. So, but I have my pajamas and a cardigan on because I get cold, and that's about it. It has been a very busy week with lots and lots of meetings, and which are good, but I kind of have to be on during those meetings. Not really. I didn't have to present as much as a lot of people do, but it's enough so that I'm pretty tired. So, but it is good to see my coworkers that are in this office that I don't get to see in real life person. So that's been fun. But I'm gonna just stitch for a few minutes, and I might try to turn you around and just do, a little bit of stitching, because sometimes people don't know necessarily how to basket weave or haven't seen that. So in case somebody's new here and I haven't done that in a little bit, so I might do that just to give you something to look at. All right, thanks for coming along. Hope you're having a great day and a good evening. Thanks for coming. Bye. So the light is terrible, but if you don't have one of these neck light, if you're a stitcher, whether it's needlepoint, embroidery, cross stitch, knitting, crochet, these neck lights are so helpful to have if you travel at all, like a vacation, whatever, because the lighting clearly in hotels is terrible. And so having one of these little neck lights is so helpful if you want to stitch in bed at night. So highly recommend one of these. Okay, my apologies. The light is still not good for filming, but this is what I've shared before, but just in case somebody missed it. So on the back of your basket weave, if you've been doing basket weave, going down the poles and up the steps, when you turn it over, like I stopped in the middle of a row, so to keep the basket weave consistent, I always turn it over, and all of these are up and down vertical stitches. So that tells me that I was going down the poles. And so my next, to keep that, I need to keep going down the poles of this row. So I will just slip my starting stitch under these stitches here so that I'm basically lining up the next stitch to go next to where I left off. So basically down in here. And a lot of times I'll just put my needle there just to give myself an indication of where to go, where to start. And that is right where my next stitch would go. So now I'll just keep going down the poles. And again, if you've not seen that, if you look at a needlepoint canvas and look at the weave of the canvas that's on top, like this one is going left to right or east to west, and so that is a step. If the weave that's on top is going from north to south, that's a pole. And so when you're doing your basket weave, you're going to look for the pulls, and you go down those pulls, meaning the next stitch is below. So you always go from Mexico to Maine to make the individual stitch, but the next step in your basket weave is going down the pulls for the next stitch in your basket weave. I know I keep saying sort of the same thing over and over, but I don't know how else to describe it. So now that I've reached the bottom of this row, and this is tricky because I switched out the background color. Some of the flowers actually have white in them, and so I'm having to just kind of figure out which is white background or white flower. And I think that would have been a white. I think that's part of the flower. So in short, here's my next stitch in my basket weave. That's right there. So now the top stitches of the canvas are going left to right. So I'm going, these are the steps, left to right go our steps. So now I'm going to keep making those stitches go up the row, sewing or scooping to the next stitch, and then forming my stitch in my basket weave. So I'll keep stitching for a few minutes. Stitching. I've never noticed how much I drop my words. I drop my G's on the ends of words, and I also do 'cause instead of because. I've never noticed until I started doing TikTok, because when I post, it will translate for me and write out the words that I have spoken, and it does that translation verbatim. And so I see all of my ums and filler words, which makes me a little crazy, as well as gonna do that instead of going to do this, or 'cause instead of because. Again, I did not realize how lazy I had gotten in articulating and using my words. So my apologies. Nonetheless, okay, so I've worked my way up that row of basket weave, going up the steps, and now I will start going down the next row, going down the pulls. And so that's how you work your basket weave. You just go up and down, up and down. And I find it very rhythmic and calming. So with that, I will stitch for a few minutes, give you a break so you don't have to hear me yammering, and hopefully you're having something that's calming and relaxing this evening. All right, friends. Thanks for coming along. Hope you're having a good night. Thanks.